Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you primarily about 4 subjects tonight. The first one is the Israeli Prime Minister's office confirming that a delegation is going back to Egypt to continue the negotiations. The second thing is Yof Galant's confirmation that they will not be fully controlling Gaza, and that's not their priority. The third thing that I wanted to be talking to you about is the US considering finalizing a deal with Israel, 18 billion US dollars, further arms, F-15 jets, massive deal. And the final thing is the attack on Eilat or al-Rashrash by the Iraqi resistance and what impact that had on Israel. I'm going to start off with the Prime Minister's office. So just over a week ago, Israel withdrew its delegation from the negotiations. Netanyahu was constantly adding more and more complications and requirements and demands, and he was even criticized by his delegation. He wasn't handing the delegation enough powers to reach a deal. The heads of the Mossad and the other seniors of the delegation were asking for more powers, and he's constantly rejecting this. Even the people in Israel, the people protesting, they were outraged by the fact that some reports said that the delegation was agreeing to reach a deal. However, Benjamin Netanyahu opposed it, and we spoke about it a couple of days ago, saying that you don't understand Hamas, I only know how to deal with them, and you're not going to get these powers to reach a deal. He previously also told them straight up, you cannot reach a deal. You're not allowed to sign a deal. It needs to be approved by Benjamin Netanyahu. And he even sent people from the Prime Minister's office, his assistants, to ensure that the heads of the Mossad and the delegation are doing exactly as they're told. Now we have a shift. That shift, including the shift in the tone of the Israeli Defense Minister, Yof Galant, could potentially be linked to that deal of the United States and the new arming of Israel, $18 billion. However, what did they say? They said that a delegation consisting of the IDF, the Mossad, and the Shabak, the top in Israeli military intelligence, they're heading to Egypt to continue the negotiations. Other reports said there's a concrete deal that all parties might agree upon. No confirmation from Hamas. They didn't say anything. As such, it's only Israel saying this so far. And we had instances previously where Israel stated that there is a potential to reach a deal, but Hamas said it's all media talk. There's nothing concrete. This report from the Israeli Prime Minister's office also stated that all cabinet members apparently reject the notion of withdrawal from the middle of Gaza, from central Gaza, the area that splits the north from the south. Number one, apparently. Not concluding anything, not confirming anything, apparently. Clearly, some figures in the war cabinet, they agree to a full withdrawal from Gaza. But this report didn't want to state that. Why? Because it would harm Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's coming out from his office. However, they're trying to show some sort of unity when it comes to this delegation, because the Israeli population is very frustrated by the fact that there were reports that the delegation is agreeing on a deal and it's Benjamin Netanyahu stopping them. We heard the reports previously that we spoke about, Netanyahu banning them from reaching a deal, telling them you cannot approve a deal unless it's authorized by myself. His claims that he's running the negotiation, his criticism to the delegation that you do not understand how to negotiate with Hamas, it's only I who can do it. So they're obviously trying to have this tone of unity that does not exist. Israel is totally divided, totally split. It's at the brink of civil war. However, they continued, they still have problems with returning to the north as per Hamas request. Now, with regards to the withdrawal, Hamas is very clear. Hamas's 4 to 5 main requirements and demands from the ceasefire and for them to reach a deal are full ceasefire, stopping the war, withdrawing from all parts of Gaza, although everything can be gradual, letting the residents back in to the north, allowing all aid back into Gaza and rebuilding Gaza, alongside a couple of other things like temporary housing until the rebuilding is accomplished. However, what Hamas has been constantly saying is that Israel is refusing to confirm anything. Israel is refusing to guarantee that any of Hamas's requests will happen. They just want a temporary ceasefire, get their prisoners back, and completely go ahead with the ethnic cleansing and genocide campaign in Gaza. However, the fact that they're sending the delegation again could potentially suggest that they're showing somewhat of an openness, right? Yof Galant is saying women and children can return to the north, but to Hamas that's not enough because they already proposed it to them previously. They told them everyone needs to go back, and Israel previously showed frustration from Hamas and why they're so keen on people going back. It's like because they know you. They know that you want to completely ethnically cleanse Gaza and commit a genocide, and that you won't allow people to go back. That's why. The second thing that I want to talk to you about, so from that point, firstly, before I go to the next point, they're moving ahead slowly. No guarantees that anything is going to be implemented. It's going to have to take some time up until we hear what the resistance has to say. And it's not just about the positive vibes, but actual confirmations, guarantees on the ground. And we haven't seen any of that yet. The second thing that I want to talk to you about, Yof Galant. So Yof Galant had a statement. He said that having control over Gaza is not possible from a security priorities perspective. That's the same man who was just saying weeks ago we need to demolish all of their capabilities. He didn't say demolish the Hamas, to be fair to him, like Netanyahu. He said we want to eliminate the Hamas as a whole, not just the military wing, the ideology, the civil services, the people, the everything. A cover-up for a genocide. It's not Hamas, we said that from the day one. It's the Palestinian people. It's genocide. It's ethnic cleansing. That's what they're after. However, he's now saying it's not possible. Is that a preparation for further going back from previous statements, a bit of U-turn, climbing down the ladder slowly? Could potentially be, especially with the fact that they're sending the delegation back to the negotiations and the reports about the US considering this $18 billion deal, during which, that's the third thing that I want to talk about, they will send 50 F-15 jets, air-to-air missiles, more weapons to Israel, contracts for a couple of decades at least. That could potentially be linked to it because the United States, although the United States administration is worse than Israel when it comes to this genocide because they're the enabler, they're worse than Israel. However, they showed criticism because they don't want things to get out of hand. It's a foreign policy of the US to have conflicts on low heats, to keep people divided, but they don't want things going out of control. And Israel spiraling things out of control, especially with Benjamin Netanyahu's psychopathic approach towards everything and his complete narcissism and lack of care about anything, even to do with Israel as a state. However, whether these two things are linked or not, this deal just proves again what we stated previously, that the United States is worse than Israel in terms of administration, that the values that Western powers speak about are nothing and they're meaningless, completely meaningless, and that they're continuing down the path of supporting a genocidal state. None of the values that Western countries speak to you about have any sort of backing or evidence or are implemented anywhere. A bunch of lies. Equality, freedom, human rights, complete nonsense, complete lies, and Palestine is the biggest example. Western powers don't believe in equality, they don't believe in liberty, they don't believe in freedom, they don't believe in justice. As a matter of fact, they believe in the complete opposite. Authoritarianism, lack of freedom, supremacy, and suppression, and silencing, and genocide. This is what they believe in, and they prove it day after day. Which leads me to the final thing that I want to talk to you about. On the night between Sunday to Monday, the Iraqi resistance, they launched a UAV that hit a very sensitive place in Israel. Israeli media reported that an alarm sounded in Eilat and Eilat region following a fear of a hostile aircraft infiltration. A short time after, the IDF informed that a suspicious target had exploded in the area of the Gulf towards the territory of the State of Israel. Long-winded way in confirming that something landed in Israel. And listen to this. According to the announcement, there was minor damage to a military structure and no one was injured. So they don't want to tell you that it landed in Israel. They don't want to tell you that they failed to intercept it. And they don't want to tell you that it hit a Sa'ar Corvette, one of the most advanced in the Israeli Navy fleet. They added later it was allowed to be published that a UAV was launched from Iraq and hit the naval base in the city. At the same time, the Islamic Resistance in Iraq organization, which consists of pro-Palestinian, pro-Iranian, militias operating in Iraq and Syria, announced that they had attacked a vital target in Israeli territory. They even published a picture on which it was written Eilat and beyond Eilat. Now that's true because the Iraqi resistance, again, quality attacks in Israel in very sensitive places, and they target and they land and they hit. They targeted Haifa, they targeted Karish gas field, they targeted the Ashdod port, they targeted very strategic places in Israel. They continue to do so successfully, and Israel is failing to intercept their attacks, whether UAV or missiles, ballistic missiles, through their Kela David or their other anti-missile systems. And these were the main things that I want to talk to you about tonight, and I will hopefully see you soon in the next video. Take care.